Are you looking to establish a powerful online presence for your brand? Look no further than Live the Dream Media. Our team of experts possess the capabilities and skills necessary to make it happen. From creating compelling content to analyzing data and making strategic decisions, we've got it covered. Don't let a lack of social media know-how hold you back. Visit ltdmedia.net for more information.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
We can print anything on our soft vanilla logo cookies. We deliver them and other sweet treats locally. We are located at 4249 West Ina Road, Suite 121. Call us 520-300-1131. We bake smiles.
Copper Creek Cookies, Copper Creek Cookies, coppercreekcookies.net.
Hey, I'm David Samorano, back to the Now You Know podcast. We took a brief break during the summer here, and I've welcomed my son to the family. My wife and I are really, really proud, and we're excited to have him here. Some of you have seen my daughter, Raylyn. She did a little recording. She's learning how to be a podcast host at the age of 2. It's pretty awesome. But it's nice to be back in the studio. I have a really dynamic guest here today. I'm going to let her take it from here, talk about who she is, what she's doing, and why you should follow her.
Thank you for having me. First and foremost, I am so excited to be here. My name is Dana Hanson. I am a mindset coach and educator, and I also have my own podcast, Happy, Healthy, Wealthy. So I talk about all things mindset, brain training, brain rewiring, and programming.
Yeah. I've listened to your podcast.
You have?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Well, of course, I got to research before I bring people on here. So.
Smart man.
You said something to me before the show. You know, we have a saying, start where you're at, right? Doesn't matter where it is, just start there. Make stuff happen at that moment, at that time, with the resources you have. Where are you recording these things right now?
So right now, I am recording them in my closet. Yeah. I have a small closet. I shut the doors. I have like a tiny little muffler that muffles the sound, and I have my mic, and I'm just sitting there in my dark little closet.
That's so
and it
awesome.
Works. Yeah.
Hey, we've all started there. All of us, myself included. I used to do music back when I was hanging out with my friends. We would record in the closet because it was the best spot for sound. You've got your clothes providing you with like a really good acoustic setting, and you're just alone and you have that privacy, because if you're out in front, it can be kind of embarrassing, right? It's like, you're like, I don't want anybody watching what I'm doing. So.
Yep. I part the clothes. I get right in between. I get the kids' stool and I go.
It's so awesome. So you're on a journey right now, right? You're piecing together this business. You're working your tail off. You're working full time, and you're doing this on the side. This is your side hustle. You're making things happen. Tell us about this journey and your experience so far.
Yeah, it's definitely been a journey. I feel like a lot of times we can underestimate the work that's required to make something happen. And I see this a lot with generations coming into the workforce. They come in and right away they want to be on top. And I think the same goes for an entrepreneurial journey. You start this journey and you're like, oh, I'm going to be an influencer. I'm going to be, making 6 fig in 1 year. And then you are quickly humbled by what goes on behind the scenes. And until you're actually in it and doing the work, it's hard to really fathom what it takes. So it has been quite the journey. You mentioned I'm working full time. I have my podcast. Social media is a beast in and of itself. And I have 2 young kids. So I am spread very thin, but I'm also of the mindset, sometimes you have to work hard for the things that you want in life. And not everything's easy. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Yeah, for sure. The entrepreneurship thing, if you think it's going to be easy at all, check yourself. Right? Like, it's just not. And this idea of instant gratification is something we have talked about a lot. And we actually did the Unrestricted Free Agent podcast, which is when we have Behind a Paywall, which is talking a lot about like mindset stuff like you are. So that's why I was really excited to get you here on this podcast, because you and I, being podcasters, being in similar journeys, and you're kind of going through the same thing that I did, we can really relate and talk about stuff and get stuff out there for the listeners to get like, hey, is this something I really should consider? Am I ready for this? Am I mentally ready for this? Right? Because it's difficult. Yeah, I would say becoming an entrepreneur has been the biggest mindset challenge of my life. And even though I talk a lot about mindset, I know a lot about mindset, it is still a challenge because this is very difficult. And anybody that tries to sugarcoat it and tell you otherwise is not being forthcoming. And I'm not saying that for some people it can't be easy, right? There's always the outliers that start something and immediately they're successful. But that's not the typical story.
Small percentage, right? So what is entrepreneurship to you? How do you see it? What's your perspective?
Entrepreneurship to me is still evolving, right? It's evolved every day. It's a process of trying different things, seeing what works for you, seeing what aligns. To me, what attracted me to entrepreneurship was the ability to have something of my own, to build it from the ground up, to have a lifestyle that provides me with freedom, a limitless financial income. Sometimes that's not security, especially in the beginning. You're sacrificing financial security when you're leaving a full-time job. But that's the risk you take with entrepreneurship. And it has so many other rewards that you kind of really have to weigh what your values are.
Yeah. I like the thing you talked about with security. And that's probably one of the scariest things for a lot of people, because we talk about how a lot of places will pay just enough for you to stay. Right. And why are we staying? Because we can afford our bills at that time. We can take care of things that we need or particularly want. Right. There's a lot of wants in life. When you sit down and you get a budget sheet and we sit and go, hey, what do we want and what do we need? There's a lot of wants on there. And that's where you can have fun and go, we can get rid of that, the entrepreneurship thing. But I have a story for you from somebody that visited yesterday. And talking about the security thing, this individual amassed $5 million. His mid-20s through real estate and investing, and was on top of the world. And then this was 2007, right? 2007. You already know what's going to happen, right? 2008 happens. That person went from having that $5 million to being $8 million, or losing $8 million, ending up $3 million in the hole.
Ouch.
In 18 months. So we talk about the security thing. You always got to have that weighing in, right? Because even if you start a business, we're like, I feel pretty secure on what we're doing. Something like AI comes along.
Changes the game.
Yeah, a big game changer. Everybody right now is fighting. Now you look at Hollywood. That's their big argument. We don't want AI inside of the studios be writing scripts and replacing people, right? Like there's just these huge disturbances. So the security part is huge. And then trying to keep up with everything that's going on too. It's like, so when I see entrepreneurship, like you're saying, like it's always evolving. Absolutely. That is the best definition I've heard of it, because there's not a day that goes by that you're not evolving and not figuring out something else, not putting a fire out. It's intense.
It really is. And that's also something that I find that a lot of entrepreneurs have in common is they want the challenge. I am somebody who thrives under a challenge. And that's what I love about being an entrepreneur and being in my own business is there is always something to solve. If something's not working, there's 10 different ways to approach it. And it's a lot of trial and error until you sort of get into your groove. But even when you're in your groove, even if you're making $1 million business, how do I get to 10? How do I get to 20? There's always a next level, which is very exciting.
Yeah. Just don't stop. Can't stop. Won't stop.
Yep, that's right. I also think that most entrepreneurs that I've met, and a girl was messaging me this on Instagram the other day, is that you almost have to have a delusional level of self-belief. Like you almost have to like gaslight yourself into like, this is going to work no matter what. I am going to continue to evolve. I am going to be a $1 billion business one day. And that's what drives you and keeps you going.
Why do you think entrepreneurs need to have that mentality?
I think because there's always going to be somebody that doesn't believe in you, right?
Absolutely.
A friend, a family, an employer. There's always going to be somebody that's trying to bring you down or doesn't see your dream. You can't let that person be you because it is hard. There are days that I have cried, that I have wanted to throw in the towel, that I have said, this is the last time I'm falling down and I'm not getting up, you know, and then I have a weekend reprieve with my kids and I eat a snack and take a nap and I'm like, all right, I can get back up one more time. And I think that's part of the journey, right?
Yeah. No, been there for sure. For sure. You know, when you walk away from everything that's easy, like having that paycheck, having all that security, there can be some turmoil. There can be, and again, it can come from your own house, right? It can come from your own family. It can come from there was a podcast. I remember talking to somebody who had interviewed me pretty early in my journey, like of leaving. And I remember talking about how surprised I was with people close to me expressing their doubt.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it hurts. And you go, man, like
you've
already got the world. It feels like the world's against you. But then when you have people in your own home or you have people in your own family that are going, yeah, this probably ain't going to work. Do you even know what you're doing? Like, how are you going to figure this out? What's your business plan? All that stuff. It can weigh you down. It can feel hard.
Absolutely. And, you know, I have someone like that in my life who has always been a number one supporter. But this is not how they would do things. This is not their mentality, and they don't understand it.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
I kind of have to remind myself that they don't have to.
Exactly. Yeah.
I have to understand it. I have to believe in it. And that's it.
I had a feeling you were going to go down that road, because that's the next thing you have to say. You have to understand, right? It's like, they're not going to understand it. You know, my partner here, Clint, that's in here doing the video directing. Thanks, Clint. You're doing an awesome job as always. He's always given me advice through these hard situations because he's been through it. And he's like, you know what? If they're going to believe in you, they're going to believe you. The people that are going to believe in you are going to let you know. Mm-hmm. They're going to believe in you, and they're going to support you. So, and at the end of the day, you only need that small core, right? And it's okay for 99% of the people to not believe in what you're doing or not want to do it, right? And this isn't a knock at a lot of people. This is just something that we've been talking about. And I think Clint, I think you said this yesterday, and you could tell me if I'm wrong through my ear, but a lot of people won't do or take risks and stuff. Not only are they scared, but they're, what did you say? Okay, yeah, so I was pretty close. So a lot of people will copy things and not do what they're saying they're going to do, or they'll talk about doing it till the end of their life because they're scared. They won't actually do it because at the end of the day, they are scared. Won't admit it, but that they're scared. What have we done? We've admitted, yeah, it's been scary. Yeah. And it's okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that I have to do it scared. There's things that I've done in my business. You know, I do a lot of public speaking. It's not my favorite thing to do. I always get nervous with it, but I do it anyways. And part of it is you have to do things that scare you. You have to test your boundaries. What is life unless you try and see what's possible for yourself, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like to think in the grand scheme of things. When I'm on my deathbed, am I going to say, gosh, I'm glad I played it safe? I'm glad I went with security. Or am I going to say, I pursued something that I believed in and I chased my dream?
Yeah.
Whether or not the outcome is that it works or not, the whole point is chasing it.
For sure.
Right?
And you don't gotta go away. You don't gotta leave this earth going, man, what if? We're
Exactly.
throwing what ifs out.
Yeah. Well, and there's also a reframe. What if it does work, right? So often we go into the mindset of, what if I fail? What if nobody likes me? What if I end up, you know, a homeless man on the streets or whatever, you know, your negative scenario is. But when you don't know what the future is, why not tell yourself, what if this works out? What if this is the best decision I've ever made in my life?
Yeah.
What if this is the point that my life turns around and 5 years from now I look back and I say, thank God I did that.
Yeah. Yeah. That could be today for a lot of people. You posted something a couple days ago. Our mind focuses 95% of the time our mind is focusing on the negative. Am I close to what it was?
It was 60,000 thoughts a day.
Yeah.
80% are negative.
Shoot,
95 are repetitive.
95 are repetitive. That's where I got the 95.
Yeah.
See, I'm watching. See? But yeah, that's very true. Because I think it's an instinct part of our build as humans is to focus on the negative. And I think the reason we do that is we identify negatives first because we feel that we need to correct them, protect others from them, protect ourselves from them. Yeah. But when you're dealing with intentionally putting yourself in a spot where the negatives can develop, our mind kind of goes a little weird, like, you caused this. This is your fault. So I'm going to focus on that. That's bad. You did this bad. We don't, it's hard to move away from that and go, yeah, I'm in an uncomfortable position, but that uncomfortable position could yield significant possibilities.
Yeah. And to sort of to tie this together and backtrack a bit about people not understanding you, I think when people are used to you acting, behaving, showing up a certain way in your life, and they see you making positive change, whether you're on a fitness journey or you're on an entrepreneurial journey or whatever it is that you're chasing, it threatens the status quo. And people, like you said, some people are going to lift you up. Some people are going to support you and you'll know who those people are. And other people are going to feel threatened and they're going to try to pull you down. And I had an experience this week where I heard that people were gossiping about me, speaking negative. And I'm human, right? Yeah. I had those self-defeating thoughts. I felt bad. And I think the age-old advice of like, who cares what other people think? Yeah, that's great in theory, but in reality, we as humans are hardwired to care. Yeah. We're pack animals. We're social creatures. We care what other people think. Yeah. So how did I handle it? I recognized that I was upset. I was sad. I let myself feel it. And then I paid attention to my thoughts. I think we as humans let our thoughts run rampant and we just believe everything we think. Yeah. And we don't check ourselves to say, what am I telling myself right now in this moment? What are the thoughts that are going through my head? And then let me choose consciously something different that serves me better. I don't have to think this thought. I can think this instead. And that's the power of mindset.
You know why those people are talking about you?
Why?
You're doing something they're not doing. You're doing something they're scared to do. You're in their head rent-free. You're in their thoughts. You're in their day. Because you're taking the risks that they won't do. You're taking your mindset in a different direction.
It's interesting that you say that because that was literally one of my reframes that I used is that maybe these people are gossiping about me or trying to pull me down because I'm doing something they never would or could. Yeah. And whether or not that's true, that's an empowering feeling. That serves me better than thinking these people don't like me. They're talking about me. They're conniving against me. When I reframe it for myself that the reason they're talking about me is because I'm threatening them and their lack of action in their life. Yeah. Whether or not that's true, that makes me feel better, right? So let's go with it.
One of our old hosts, her name was Veronica. I think she's going to come back, but she had us a Tribe Talks podcast is what it is. She said something one time that really caught me. And she said, people aren't going to talk crap when you're doing pretty bad. Like things aren't going well for you. They're not going to really talk crap about you. But when they're going to talk crap about you when you're ahead of them, for sure. A lot more.
It threatens people, right? I mean, if you're overweight and your friend's overweight and that's how you've always had your relationship and all of a sudden your friend loses weight and gets fit and, you know, that's a change in the dynamic and it's to be expected. Yeah. Yeah. Part of the process.
Yeah. And when we're in this realm, we have to be positive. A lot. Often. People have told me, they're like, Dave, chill out. You can't come in here. You're too chippy. Like you're just too excited. Like you're too excited. Like relax. Your energy's not where it needs to be. It needs to be down here. You're up here. But we have to operate. Would you agree? We have to operate at that every day because first off, we're trying to get things done. We're trying to provide. We're trying to serve people. First, we're trying to serve people, right? We're bringing in a product. We're bringing in a service to do what? Help people, right? It's not built around our center of ourselves like we're doing this for us. If you are, it's probably not going to go well. And you're going to get pissed off pretty quick because people aren't going to be outside lined up, right? But we have to stay this way because we have a reputation. We have relationships we have to build in the networking. And we have people we have to take care of. Yeah. So,
yeah, I feel like you have to be positive because this is a challenging journey. And if you get in your own mind about negative thoughts or what are people saying or what are people thinking, it doesn't serve you.
Nope, for sure. I hope I didn't just kick you. No. Okay, good. I kicked something.
No, not me.
Yeah, Clint whispered into my ear, so he's got this cool thing he's been talking about. It's called day one mentality. The mentality you have at day one, we're like, I'm going to do this. That first customer you get. How does it go for that first customer of yours? You're going to like do everything you can to make sure they feel good, that they're getting taken care of day one. Well, a lot of people lose that day one mentality. A couple years in, I mean, think of customer service these days. Would you agree with me that it's complete crap right now for most places?
Oh, yeah.
Like anywhere you get food, you're just like not surprised that it's just crap. Yeah. That day one mentality is gone. And a lot of people go, oh, COVID or whatever it is. But day one. That's what he whispered. He's like, hey, bring in that day one mentality.
I love that. I'm going to have to steal that, Clint, because that is genius.
He doesn't mind.
Okay, good. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. That's from Jeff Bezos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
good man to follow.
Yeah, for sure. So Amazon's still okay.
I mean, I'm all about that Amazon
Yeah.
life.
I just bought an Apple Watch from there on Prime Day, so I ain't gonna lie.
You know, that's
My wife made me, by the way.
Yeah. It's genius.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're moving good. I think we're almost to the end here. It's fast.
Oh.
Believe it or not, we're already half hour over.
I could
It's
sit here all day.
No, it's all good. We got a couple more things to talk about, and I want to move through. We could talk about mindset all day. I think you and I could probably do this all day. I think we could probably do another like 5-10 episodes.
Let's
Easy.
do it.
Yeah,
Get it on the
and
books.
Just cut
Part
it up.
1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just cut it up.
Yeah.
What's the most challenging thing you face in particular? Like one, if you can put it in one just incident. If not, if it's a couple of them. But just what's that one challenge where you're like, hey, I'm going through this, or I went through this. You can get through it.
I think the biggest challenge is not having it all figured out. And that's the chase, right? That's why we do this. Like I said earlier, it's a bit of a puzzle going into entrepreneurship. It's trial and error. And when you go down a path and you're really optimistic about it and it ends up being a dead end, that's challenging to say, I spent so many hours and emotional turmoil down this path just to start down another path.
Yeah.
So I think the falling down a lot, failing a lot is challenging.
Yeah.
And it's to be expected. It's part of the process. It still sucks.
Yeah. Fail forward though.
Yeah.
Right. You can't learn from anything. Like you have to learn. And the only way you learn is to do what?
To fail.
Fail.
Well, there's a Japanese proverb that I love. It's fall down 7 times, stand up 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I was alluding to earlier. You fall down, you scrape your knee, you get bruised, you feel sad, but you just have to keep standing back up and keeping going.
Yeah. We had a podcast episode here. I like referencing stuff that happens in here. I think you're starting to notice that. Hey, Clint, maybe you can help me with this in my ear. Michael Jordan missed how many shots? He missed 12,000 shots. The media doesn't talk about that. They talk about those moments where he made it. But he missed way more than he made.
Yeah, you like to reference the show, and I love quotes. I'm a quotes girl. And there's a quote about nobody wants to show you the process of becoming. They just want to show you who they've become.
Yeah.
And it's so true. And you get so inundated with social media. You see these people that are successful, that are living their life. Yes, right. You see the highlight reel, right? But you don't see the hours that they've spent, the sleepless nights, the tears that they've cried. You just see the final product.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a little bit of a skewed perspective of what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
And you forget that every day I am becoming. You aren't yet arrived, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Because it's not pretty. Nobody wants to share their struggles.
No.
They just want to share their final end product.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Why do you think that is? Why do you think people don't want to share those struggles?
I think because people think if they show where I'm at, where I've arrived, it's inspirational to others. It's like dangling the carrot in a way, you know? What do you think?
I feel that. For sure. I feel that might be a reason, but I also feel that Clint whispered in my ear, making sausage isn't pretty.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I don't think it's sexy enough for them to post or to share.
Yeah.
Right. I think the ones that see the rawness of it, the ones that feel what's going on, the ones that are like closest to us are the only ones that'll usually see that.
The reality.
Yeah. And we've talked about that. Like, what if you just like really show the journey and all that stuff? Well, oftentimes we don't see the journey for a lot of things until there's a documentary where you go, holy cow, going back to the show and other stuff. Championships weren't won that day of the championship game. It was won in the off season when they were working out. Right.
Yeah, and I think people sometimes think it will make them appear lesser than. Everybody's trying to look like an expert and authority. So when you share that you're having a hard time, that you've fallen down, that you're struggling, people might feel like it diminishes their image.
Yeah. Do you use LinkedIn?
I do.
I think you know where I'm going with LinkedIn.
I don't know.
I'm not a fan of LinkedIn.
Uh-oh.
You know why?
Why?
Everybody's like awesome on there. I'm so humbled. I'm so excited. I'm so blessed. I can't even go on it for more than like 2 minutes a day. I go in there to do professional contacts and talk to people, answer questions, answer messages. But when we're talking about what we're talking about right now, I had to bring it up. Because have you seen that before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like, man, he's going in some deep stuff right now. I might lose a couple followers.
You know, I feel like with LinkedIn and with entrepreneurship in
Unfollow
general.
me.
Yeah. Uncheck.
Yeah.
I feel like you get this picture from the outside, and I've had so many networking calls with people I've met on LinkedIn and come to find out they're not making any money.
Yeah.
They're not successful in their business, which in a way is reassuring, right? That there's also people struggling out there, but you would never know that unless you got on a call with them and really had to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So again, you have to take everything you see. And this is to myself too. I fall into the trap all the time.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to take it with a grain of salt. Social
sure.
media is just a little fraction of people's lives.
Absolutely. For sure. And I see all that stuff going on with the I'm so. When we talk about it here too, and the letter I in the beginning of a lot of things, from what I've learned from Clint and other mentors in my life, and when the letter I is the beginning of a lot of stuff, that's a red flag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, I think even in my own journey, especially starting out, you don't have it all figured out. You might have an idea of what your business is going to be or what you're going to do.
And that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
It'll always be that way, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's like we said, evolving, ever evolving, right?
Yeah. I know people that are like in their 70s that still don't have life figured out. And I thought they did.
Yeah.
So.
It's part of the process, right?
Yeah.
But I think we think, okay, I have to have all the answers. And there's a lot out there that feels like you have to present yourself as an expert in order to have a voice. And I heard something once that really inspired me, which was, I'm not an expert. I'm just a contributor to the conversation. I'm just sharing my knowledge, my experience.
Yeah.
And it's so freeing because a lot of people have this imposter syndrome, like, who am I to share about this? I don't know about it. I haven't dedicated my life to researching it, but you know more than others.
Yeah.
You're one step ahead, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, for sure. And that's huge in relationships too, because our world has just lost grasp of relationships over politics, over stuff that doesn't really matter at the end of the day, stuff you can't change. But when you can sit with people from different areas of life and different experiences and different beliefs, that's where things are accomplished. That's when problems get solved. That's when the world changes, right? So having that outlook of like, I can relate to people, I can talk to people, and not being the center of attention in a room. Don't be the center of attention in the room unless you're getting paid to do it. If someone says, hey, we're going to pay you to stand on stage, give us everything you got, right? But there's people to learn from in that room. You might not think so.
Shared knowledge.
Yeah. And it's like, Clint always talks like that. I always want to be the weakest link in the room is what he says.
That's right.
I strive for that. That's what he tells me. Yes, like, I totally get it.
Yeah, there's a saying in the training world, are you the sage on the stage or are you the guide on the side? And I like that. And I think that it takes pressure off of you, right?
Yeah.
Of yourself to say, I'm just contributing. I'm just bringing my opinions, my knowledge, my information.
You're a corporate trainer. So you get paid to go on stage, don't you?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
Well, and a lot of it is also developing curriculum and training materials. But and you want it to be a conversation.
Yeah.
You want people to have stake in the game. And so I think when you just make that small mindset shift for yourself, it's so powerful and freeing because you're like, I don't have to know it all. I'm still learning.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice do you have to somebody that's getting ready to go on this journey?
The advice that I have and that I follow myself is do it before you're ready. Take messy action. Just do it and you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What about you? What's your advice?
Well, Clint's whispering in my ear because he does often.
Clint?
He's saying ditch perfection. But you and I had that conversation before here. There is no perfect time to make that move. There's no perfect time to have that kid. There's no perfect time to go for that new job. There's no perfect time to leave that job and do your own thing. There will never be this line of symmetry that appears in your life that you can see in a visible form that is going to tell you everything is aligned for you to make that move or to do it. So if you're focused on that happening, stop. Put your shoes on. Get a running start. Run. Jump.
Yep.
That's my advice.
Yeah.
Because I did that. Fell a lot. Needed new shoes. Still falling a lot.
Got scraped up. Yeah.
I still do stuff. I did something last night that was pretty dumb, just on accident. I left something unsecured that shouldn't have been unsecured. But it's like, just go.
Yep.
You can get new shoes, or you can go buy used shoes. You can find some shoes. You can get some pants. You're going to be fine. But you can't, you'll never find that line.
Yeah, I told my husband recently that I feel like I have this little form of self-sabotage, or maybe it helps me, where I set deadlines like way too close. Like I'm going to start a podcast next week, and then, but what it does for me is it pushes me to do it. I can't re-record it 10 times. I can't obsess over the promo and what I'm going to say because I set a deadline and it's like, ready or not, go. Is it perfect? No.
Yeah.
But it evolves. The progress that I've made, I just started my business this year. So I'm only 7 months in being live. I started September of 2022. But the me today of the me that I was compared to the me that I was at the beginning of this journey is almost unrecognizable. The content, the quality, the design, the messaging. I mean, you can learn about something all day, but until you actually get in the water, put your feet in and do it, that's where the real learning happens.
Preach.
Yeah.
Preach. She's preaching right now. No, it's perfectly put. And I think people learned a lot today.
I hope so.
I did. I for sure did. I got to share a lot. It's been a while since been in the studio, and it feels good. It feels natural.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy yourself?
I loved it. I'm here for a series, 5-episode series. You tell me.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, we want to just recognize that this podcast is made possible by Live the Dream Media, ltdmedia.net. If you're looking to do a podcast here, reach out to us. We can make it happen. If you're looking to advertise here, you should do it. We have a great local listener response. It will give you business. It will impact what you're doing. Also, we want to acknowledge 88 Crime. And our partnership with them. We want to thank them for helping the community stay safe and preventing future crime. Also, we want to thank Bulldog Inc. for representing our merch and selling our merch online. If you're looking for shirts, if you're looking for Live the Dream Media shirt, you're looking for something to keep hydrated, go on to our merch spot on our website. It'll take you to Bulldog Inc., get you taken care of. Also, we want to recognize and thank Local Marana for all the local influence that program is doing here in Marana, Arizona. When you get a chance, follow Marana Foodie, follow This is Marana, have fun, share experiences. And again, we thank you for listening to us. Thank you.
Thank you.